I just completed my first Hyatt hotel stay, and I want to share with you my first impressions of the hotel chain and the loyalty program. The hotel I chose was a Hyatt Place in Europe, and I paid $0 for 3 nights. I only had to pay 12,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points that I transferred over from my Chase Sapphire Preferred. If you've earned enough Hyatt points from all of your previous Hyatt stays, well, you can just pay points that way. But if you're like me and have never stayed at a Hyatt hotel before, how can you get points? Well, you have to transfer them from credit cards. If you want to go the credit card route, you can either transfer points from Chase over to Hyatt or from Bilt to Hyatt. All the other major credit card issuers you cannot transfer over to Hyatt, so that would be American Express, Citi, Capital One. There are 3 cards that you can use to transfer out your Chase points to Hyatt, and that would be the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Chase Ink Preferred. It was just an easy transfer on Chase's website, 12,000 points over to my Hyatt account, and then they transferred instantly, and I was ready to book. I just had to refresh the Hyatt page to have those 12,000 points show up in the account, and then I made the booking. Then the next thing I had to worry about is, was I getting any special perks for staying at a Hyatt hotel for the very first time? Well, if you're somebody that has some sort of status with Hyatt, then I would think maybe you would receive something special, but in my case, I did not. There are 4 tiers to the Hyatt loyalty program. The first one is a member. All you have to do is sign up for a free account. Takes like a couple minutes, and you are registered and you have a Hyatt number. You don't really get anything for being a member, just some very basic stuff, and then you can move on to the other 3 tiers. The first one being Discoverist status. You get this for staying 10 nights. That's the most basic way to earn this Hyatt status, but you can also sign up for 2 different Hyatt credit cards so that you can earn this status automatically. And tier number 3 is going to be Explorist status. This one is going to be when you stay 30 nights at Hyatt hotels. Of course, there are other ways that you can earn this Explorist status. There's quite a few actually. I mean, one of them is if you put enough spend on credit cards. One of them is if you earn a certain amount of points. It just depends on what you're going for, but the basic way that you can get it is by staying 30 nights. Then the final tier that you can achieve is Globalist status. And of course, yes, you can also earn points with this or spend on credit cards to get this, or you can stay 60 nights at Hyatt hotels. Basically, all I want to say in this video and for my first impressions is I was the very basic member. I wasn't any of those 3 higher tiers, and so when it came to maybe a complimentary room upgrade or maybe free breakfast, I didn't get any of that. But before I can tell you what actually happened at the hotel and my very first impressions of being on site on the property, I do have to tell you something that happened before I got there, and I saw that Hyatt was running a bonus journeys promotion. Because I registered for this promotion, I was going to get 3,000 points just for staying 3 nights at a Hyatt property during the dates that they had set out for this promotion. And it was so cool because I paid $0 for this stay. I paid 12,000 total points and I was getting 3,000 back. So it's almost like I only paid 9,000 points for this stay. And I was hoping I liked Hyatt because then I could use my 3,000 points towards a future stay. When I'm posting this video, Bonus Journeys says it's on vacation, but you can just keep checking the website and maybe one will open up sometime when you are trying to stay at a Hyatt. Now on to the actual hotel stay. I had never paid for a hotel in just points before. I had always paid cash for my hotels before learning out this credit card system and how I could leverage credit cards to get free travel or reduced travel. So I was pretty excited to get to this hotel in Krakow, Poland. That's where we were staying. And of course, I know that most of you will never get to this city at any point in your life, but that's okay. That's why I'm talking about the Hyatt program itself and how I was treated as a member without any of the elevated statuses. This is a Category 1 hotel with Hyatt, which basically means that it is on the absolute lowest tier of Hyatt properties. The categories go 1 through 8, with 8 being the best and 1 being the worst. Well, best and worst might not be the right words for it. We could just say lowest tier and highest tier, because this property had absolutely nothing wrong with it. Okay, there were a few things that we'll get to in a little bit, but I've stayed in some hotels in Europe and around the world that wouldn't really be considered very nice, and in fact, it would be not even close to as good as this Category 1 hotel that I was staying at now. I really wouldn't say that it was a bad hotel at all. I think it's just because a lot of hotels in this city particularly are going for very, very affordable rates compared to maybe even other cities in Poland. One of my main concerns when I booked this hotel is that it was away from the city center, and the city center is where all the tourist stuff is. And so I wanted to be close to that, because usually when I'm in Europe, I like walking to everything that I'm going to be doing in that day. But this one was a little bit far away, so I was nervous about it. But I realized it was actually in a very convenient location. It was only a couple minutes away from the tram stop, and it only took 15 minutes on that tram to get to the city center. And it was located next to a really big park in the city, and so it was nice to always look at that every day. Okay, so we have the location covered and the basics of the hotel. And now to answer the question of was I upgraded? Definitely not, especially at this Hyatt place. I had 3 options when I was booking with points. I could either do 2 twin beds, I could do a king bed, or a king bed with a sofa. And so I went with the king bed with a sofa. Sounded like the best option for me and my wife. When I got to the check-in desk, they thanked me for being a member, even though I didn't have any of the elevated elite statuses, and they basically said, okay, your room is paid for with points. Cool. And then it was just a very, very simple and quick check-in process, and then I was handed my keys and we were up to our 3rd floor room. I would say it was a pretty adequate room. There really wasn't a whole lot to it, but it was big enough for a bed, a sofa, a place to put our luggage, and that was pretty much it. Some of the rooms at the hotel actually didn't have a view of the park. Some of them had a view of the parking lot, and that one would not be as good, in my opinion, as the view that we had. There was one annoying thing about the room that I just didn't like, and my wife didn't either. It was that there was some sort of automatic lights in our room, and every time somebody would like get up in the middle of the night to like head to the restroom, then the automatic light would turn on and it would be really bright in the room and might even wake the other person up. And so that was a little bit annoying. And there was like this weird like clicking sound every time the automatic light came on, and I can still hear it in my head, and it was not fun. But I mean, everything else was cool. Like there was the sofa, chair, desk, like everything you could need in a hotel room. There was one thing that I wasn't expecting to have, but I was still didn't really like it. It was that there was no free breakfast with my room rate. Again, like I wasn't expecting to have this. If I really wanted the free breakfast, I probably should have just paid cash for the whole room for a rate that would have included this breakfast, or I probably could have just paid for breakfast when I went downstairs, But this was something that we did get when we stayed at Hilton, because we did have Hilton Gold status. We still have Hilton Gold status, and we'll continue to have it as long as we have our Hilton business card from American Express. But we had just come from a Hilton hotel, and we were really, really liking that free breakfast. And then we came to Hyatt with no status and did not get breakfast or any sort of welcome gift, and we were like, yeah, well, this seems like a downgrade, but if we did have status with Hyatt, things would be different. I was looking through the elite statuses on Hyatt, and it appears that you need to have a Globalist status to get that free breakfast guaranteed, which you have to stay 60 nights for. But just because I just recently talked about Hilton, comparing that to the gold status that you need with Hilton, you only need 40 nights to get that free breakfast internationally. And so just comparing the two, I mean, Hilton does look a little bit better in that area. I also didn't receive any food or beverage credits, so I didn't try out the hotel restaurant, because I'm not going to pay hotel restaurant prices when you have plenty of good food pretty close to the hotel. Overall, I'd say that the hotel itself, the Hyatt Place, was a pretty nice hotel. It was comfortable, everything that I needed for my basic basic essentials of having a place to sleep every night for a very affordable rate. They even gave us like free filtered water in the hotel lobby, which is extremely nice because in Europe, you don't really get that very often. And also, would I stay here again? Yeah, I would say I would stay here again. It's just so nice that it is a category 1 hotel, and those are kind of the ones that I'm after just because of that low price. I mean, of course there's low price when you pay cash, but even when you pay points, like it is just a really good deal. I'm not really somebody who seeks out luxurious hotels, especially when you can have a decently good option just down the road. And also like these category 1 hotels, like I'm gonna have to book more. In fact, I already did book one more because like I said, we have that 3,000 bonus points that we got from that promotion that we registered for before we completed the stay. So we got 3,000 points in our account, and I noticed that there was a Hyatt where I wanted to stay in a city in Canada, and there was a category 1 Hyatt house, and I was like, this is perfect. And so I booked that for 2 nights, and it was 10,000 points, and we used only 7,000 credit card points because we got the 3,000 bonus points from Hyatt stays. It will be interesting to try out that Hyatt house to see if there's any differences from that and the Hyatt place that I just stayed in, and also that is going to help me work towards that brand Explorer on Hyatt. It's just another one of the perks of being in the Hyatt loyalty program. If you stay at 5 unique Hyatt hotels, you can unlock 1 free night, a category 1 through 4 hotel, which I've already said in this video, category 4 hotel, I mean, they're definitely not close to the best, but they're definitely good enough for me. I don't know of any other hotel chain that is doing brand Explorer like Hyatt is. It's just so cool to have another way to earn a free night. Having gone through this experience with Hyatt, I definitely would not call myself a Hyatt loyalist by any means. I still like Hilton and I like IHG. Make sure to stay subscribed on this channel because I am doing a first impressions video of IHG because I just completed my first IHG stay as well. And I will continue to seek out the best deals that I can so I can travel to as many places as possible because that's my goal, that's my wife's goal, to go to as many places as possible. And so whenever we can find a good deal with a very affordable points price for a hotel, I'm going to take advantage of that. And probably moving forward, I will always be looking for a Hyatt hotel in any of the cities that we want to travel because we know we can just easily transfer Chase points over to Hyatt to make that booking. And Chase points are so easy to get because all you got to do is sign up for credit cards and put spend on them. If you're interested in learning more about how I actually booked this hotel and how I earn the credit card points in order to do so, click on this video right here. Thank you so much for watching this video and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.